You want to kick off with the coffee? You want to get straight to it?
We can get straight to it. We should get straight to it.
Okay, so good morning, everybody. I know
I
we've kind of been rambling, but we're running a little bit behind. And we'll talk about why, because we're going to talk about 19.5 today.
Yeah.
But first, as we mentioned in the last episode, I should sit down so maybe I'm in view of one of the cameras.
Yes.
As we mentioned last Friday on C&T episode 45, we're going to have Joel kind of demonstrate his morning coffee routine, and I'm going to angle YouTube a little to you so we can see the coffee more. Okay? And then we got a lot of good conversation today, so something to look forward to. We're going to talk about Joel took his Enneagram assessment test.
Finally.
I've taken mine a while back, and then, of course, we talked about the amazing Janai, and I'm sure she'll tune in. Maybe she'll leave some comments here. We're not going to get into details. We want to save that for later episodes, and that's also one of the announcements is when those would arrive. But we want to talk about kind of the value of personality assessment, especially Joel's reaction in the moment, and I don't want you to talk about it right now, but Joel's reaction in the moment was very revealing to me because it was another reminder that, look, I was raised taking tests like this all the time. Like, I think in upper middle class, affluent households where like private school and this stuff, like, assessing personality, assessing ability, assessing...
Were they actually more aware of stuff like that?
What? More aware, sure, but it wasn't used back then, and we'll get to it. But like, I want to talk about the strengths and weaknesses of me having taken those tests at a younger age, and then is there a benefit now, and what is the benefit? And obviously the reason it's coming up is because, yes, there is a benefit, but there's also a downside. And so we're going to talk about both of those things. I'm probably going to rant a little bit on how difficult it is for the homeless and for people down on their luck to deal with the effing government, okay? And we'll talk about my time with my DWIs and my time with jail and paying the state and paying the government and all that stuff, and how I saw a little bit of it then, but working with David now, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's bullshit, okay? You want to know why men and women are miserable and they're on the streets and they're littering and they're doing all this stuff and they're acting like there's no hope? Well, I got a reason, and I'll give it to you, and it's because nobody's helping them, okay? And if you want to say shelter, shut your face, all right? It's not something where you get to go, well, there's programs. Shut up. Shut up. Those programs are bullshit too. There's some great, I'm sure, but like it is not simple for anybody. And so I'm going to probably go into a little bit of rant there. We're going to talk about 19.5 today as well. And we got a lot of announcements that I'm going to save for the end. All right. Yep. Also, side note, again, new workout tomorrow now that there's thrusters today. So it will not be the same workout you saw online all week. I finally post a Saturday workout.
Told you thrusters.
I think we all said thrusters. I finally post a Saturday workout. And Dave Castro takes it away from me. So that's why we don't post Saturdays. But without further ado...
During the open, at least.
Without further ado, and actually I don't want to give the presentation until this one is rolling.
Yeah, let's get that rolling. Can you see my pearly whites? Or not?
Alrighty.
Flash off.
There's not flash on a freaking video.
Sometimes.
All right, there we go. Without further ado, the amazing Joel. So for the longest time,
right.
So we know Joel likes coffee. We know that everybody at Black Wolf likes coffee. And we know that we learned last week that it's my fault that Joel's now addicted to coffee.
It's possible.
Because he didn't really drink it before, didn't even like it, and then suddenly we just crammed so much. Like, I remember Nicole and I used to, like, every time we'd go get it, we'd be like, you want some coffee? And, like, I kind of remember now you kind of being like, that look of, like, why would I need coffee right now?
Little hesitation.
And then eventually then he starts saying yes just to be nice, and then I think he got addicted. So like the first was like, no thanks.
You got coffee?
And there's people here like that. Miranda, when she visited, I think she was caught off guard by how many times I offered ice. I was like, I'm gonna go get coffee. You want coffee? And she was just like, and you're like, oh, we drink a lot of iced coffee here. Yeah. And so I remember
hot.
At first you're like hesitant, and then you finally kind of start like appeasing us, because then like, when you say no to me. If I'm like, hey, you want an iced coffee? Like, no thanks. I think there's something wrong with you. Like John Wellborn says that if anybody ever offers you a beer and you turn it down strictly because you're on a diet, you're an asshole. Yeah. Now, I can disagree with that to a slight degree, but I get the point. Like, if you're at a party and you're on a diet, the point is, like, don't be a dick about it. You don't be like, well, I'm on a diet, bro. Like, he's just saying, like, be cool about it. Like, it's not even about saying no to the beer.
Yeah.
But, like, coffee, like, to me is, like, if I offer you coffee, just say yes. Like, just say yes,
Yeah.
you know?
Sip on it slow.
But then if you do say yes, I'm probably going to get you addicted to it.
Yeah.
And so now Joel's gone farther, as we discussed, into more of the nuances of coffee. And as you would say, not an expert yet, but I'll say this, man, he's learned more about it. He's read into it. And so what was fascinating to me was that you used to not have coffee at home.
Yeah.
Right? Like until this really, you didn't, you would.
We had a Keurig, but I don't trust Keurigs.
So really, you weren't getting your coffee until we maybe went to get coffee between classes.
Yeah.
So you would coach 5 and 6 or the 6 a.m. fitness.
Yeah. Or where I used to work, they had the old Folgers packets.
Okay, yeah.
So there's that, and that would be like one.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. One, because so many
of
us are so dependent on that morning cup right when we wake up.
Yeah.
And two, which Miranda and I were talking about how that's probably not ideal for like your endocrine system. Like, it's better to wait a little bit.
Yeah, and then have it.
Your cortisol levels are high. She mentioned that your cortisol levels are the highest right when you wake up, and like that caffeine. It's just not. It's not an ideal scenario for coffee.
It could be blocking important receptors.
Yeah,
like
not real ideal. So maybe you were ahead of it on it. Like maybe you were doing it right.
Yeah.
But then,
well, I didn't want to build up a tolerance to it.
Sure,
that was my main thing.
You do keep saying that.
I didn't want to build that caffeine tolerance.
If you talk about tolerance, I'm like, I know it's real, but I'm like, shut up.
I just didn't. I was like, I don't want that.
But then I was raised by a man that drinks coffee at 7 o'clock at night and then goes to bed at 9. So like,
damn.
So I was raised in a
might have built up that tolerance
in very tolerant family.
Yeah.
So now instead of just going and getting like a 4-cup coffee maker, an 8-cup coffee maker, you went all in and kind of explained to me your setup. And it's pretend I know. I don't know what a Chemex. I don't know anything. I don't know anything. So. Let's go, Joel. The next 5 to 10 minutes, all on Joel.
All right.
Here you go.
All right. So my setup, I got me a scale. I got me my Chemex. It's a little glass. It's a different way of brewing your coffee. So it's a little glass, hourglass-shaped glass piece of whatever. I don't know. That's what you brew your coffee in. And I have a reusable filter. So I went ahead and got one of these and definitely like the purchase. I was using paper at first. This is way better. So... so I got my scale to measure out how much of what I'm putting in where, the amount of coffee beans, the amount of ice. We'll be making an ice pour over today. And my hand grinder. I just brought this so you could see it. I like to grind my serving every night, not in the morning. That way, because that would take too much time. The extra 5 minutes to get this prepared is doing me in. So at night, I pre-grind my coffee because I like fresh coffee, ground coffee for my pour-overs, and then I'm good to go. But let's go ahead and get this thing started. So first things first. Already got the kettle going. So here's my gooseneck kettle. This is a game changer for those that want to get into the pour-over world. This is awesome. And for tea as well. Mine has, how many presets? 1, 2, 3, 6 different presets. And that's temperature presets depending on what you want to brew. Now what I just did there was I preheated my filter. That way there ain't no issues. And it's got a rubber gasket on it, so don't worry when I put that down. I actually got to go dump this out really quick. Hold on 1 second.
So that was poorly timed, but, you know, the man doesn't present very often, and he's right back. Just stepped outside the door. This is a very common thing, and, you know, you do see this in coffee shops now.
Oh, yeah.
It was not Slowpokes. It was
we went to Throughgoods when we got it.
Man, I forgot the name of that place.
Mm-hmm.
When we used to go to Throughgoods damn near every day, this was kind of their jam. They were real big on the pour-overs. And then, of course, I always brag about Destiny making me a Japanese pour-over, which seems to be what we're doing here. I'm sure coffee aficionados. By the way, Alice, if you end up listening to this, I'm going to contact you because I really like the idea of you coming on and teaching us about coffee. Rudy,
yes.
I don't think you listened, but if you ever did, definitely getting at you about that as well. But you do see pour-overs in coffee shops now. But you can also get these. Do you remember what you paid for this?
Yes. Oh, which part?
The Chemex.
So I actually found this at Walmart by accident. And
right.
This one was $14, and it's a single serving thing. So pretty much goes along the lines of what like
I got mine at Home Goods. I got mine at Home Goods, which is basically an outlet, and I think I paid less than $20 as well. And it had the filter on top and everything, and it's rolled. And actually, mine was bigger. Mine was not single serving.
This isn't a competition.
In fact, while you're talking, I'm
this
gonna go
isn't
check.
a competition, bro.
I think it's behind you. I think it's in the room.
Uh-oh.
In my former bedroom behind that window.
Former bedroom.
All right, back to Joel. He should not be leaving frame again.
No, I am done leaving frame. until I got to make another one. Because I was to make another one, this is a single serving thing.
So what are you doing right now?
So I've just put the ice in while Ben was talking. I put 100 grams of ice in there because I will be adding 200 grams of hot water. Right now I'm measuring the amount of coffee grounds I'm putting into this. So you want to, when you're making a ice pour over, you want to go more than what you usually do. The usual is 25 grams. I'm going to 30 for this because I have to account for the ice that's going to be part of the coffee mixture, the coffee to water ratio. So right now, I got 30 grams, a little bit more for measure. There you go. 30 grams, hot coffee. Got my ice in here. I'm going to tar it out. Is it tar? Is it tear? Tar? Is it tar? I'm going to tar it out. T-A-R-E on the scale. Zeroed out. Now I could accurately measure the amount of water I'm putting in, which will be 200 grams of hot water at a scorching 205 degrees Fahrenheit. So, here we go. First things first, just going to pour a little bit, about 75 grams of water, and this is just to let it bloom. You know, let the hot water break the coffee down, get all those oils out and whatnot, so they got these perfect little bubbles up top. You can't see it, I'm sorry. I'll post a picture later. Oh, right there, 76 grams. That was an accident. I didn't even mean to do that on the first try. Sweet. So I let it settle for a little bit. They say about 30 seconds. I do 20-ish. And then from there, I just keep pouring in circular motions to get all the ground coffee. Yes, you will need ice in the cups. Oh, those are fancy cups. Is that what? Okay. Fancy cups there. And it smells amazing as you do this. So it slowly drips. It's a pour over. It's going to slowly drip through the filter, fall into the ice. And after a while, once I get to 200, I'm going to let it drip for another 30 seconds to a minute. Let it finish doing its thing. And then I'm going to swirl around the coffee and ice mixture. Now, if I did it right, the ice will all melt. And then you pour that over into more ice. So again, you're using more coffee and a little less water. There you go. Watch out, bro. You can get hot water on you. And this does take about 4 to 5 minutes. So if you didn't hear me mention it before, I do wake up 5 minutes earlier to get this started. And it's worth it. It is such a flavorful, aromatic coffee. This is one serving, by the way. This will be all yours. So you have to pour it in like a plastic cup. Ooh. Yeah, you could do that. You could also have some espresso shots in there. You know what I mean? Know what I mean? Because we got that pretty little machine over there. Make a double shot of espresso. We're using all the coffee things today. All right. I've poured all my water. Now I just let it drip for a little longer. Okay. Still dripping. Again, this takes a little bit. So while I do this, I usually walk around either still putting articles of clothing on or walking around brushing my teeth or, I don't know, whatever I got going on. I'm usually multitasking in the morning. There you go.
Do you lay your clothes out the night before?
Yes, yeah.
Like what does it look like when you wake up? Like what do you have? Do you have decisions to make, or is it pretty much just like grab and go?
No, it's grab and go. Because if I have to make decisions, like, because I'm an indecisive person naturally, I'm indecisive, so I can't ever make a solid choice. So if at night I set my clothes on the corner of my bed, got my shirt, got my shorts, got my socks. That way when I wake up, it's just a matter of putting it on. So in the background, you hear the machine throwing out some coffee grounds. A lot. And that's the automatic function. Gee willikers, Batman. Don't spill it. It's a heaping mound of espresso grounds. All right. So you just, like, right after you do 40 pounds of pressure, I don't know how you gauge that. You tip it over and then you just twist that card.
Is 40 pounds a lot? Baristas can't be that strong, right?
No, they're not that strong.
So
your average barista's about, I don't know. I'm not
I guess you don't want to
down
pack
that
it down
route.
so the water can still get through, right?
Correct.
Okay, and then you do what? You just trim it?
Yeah, you trim it. If you packed it right, you could trim it. It's not going to fall out. You just twist the card in there.
What does that do then if it doesn't fall out?
It takes off the extra shavings. That will fall out.
Okay.
The extra shavings will fall out.
So you want that to fall out?
You want that to fall off. And then if there's any residue, you just pack it again with that little hammer thing. I need to learn my terms, y'all. Speaking of which, this morning I didn't actually make any coffee. I came in without it, and I was like, you know what? I can make me an espresso shot. Well, when removing the actual handle there, the espresso puck fell into my shot. Yeah, I guess it stayed on top instead of going with that part, and the puck fell in my espresso shot, so I had to make another one. What you dump? What you dump out? The leftover espresso? Yeah, when you're done, it should be a puck. Yeah, and you dump it. Well, that fell into my espresso shot. Every morning, there is always something, folks. There's always something. Wait, are you making a double? Don't you want to do 2 shots? Hurry! Oh, he made it, folks. He made it. No, because if you put double on there, it's supposed to throw out enough grounds for 2.
But it's just it doesn't go that full.
We're still getting used to this machine, folks.
I mean, it still makes espresso.
This is done. Yes, this is done. Cool. So, where's my? Yeah, I'll just throw it in there. That's fine. I usually dump that, but I don't want to leave the frame anymore. So it's still hot. The ice is almost all melted. I'll swirl it around a little bit, and then we're gonna have some iced coffee, and we're gonna put some espresso shots in. I'm very excited about this.
So I put an espresso shot this morning in my 1885 cold brew.
How was that?
It was awesome.
Oh man!
Like once again, 1895 cold brew, good with anything.
Good with anything, yo.
Good with
I
anything.
mean,
we're selling this. We're almost sold out.
What am I brewing with? 1885. I got the Honduras beans this time.
What am I mean, we're almost sold out.
Yeah, we're almost sold out. People are buying.
Jose, Molly, I need more coffee cans.
We need more coffee.
More cans of coffee.
We got 3 more left. So pour this over ice. So pretty.
Yeah, you're right. We needed 2 cups for that. That would have been bad.
Told you.
My morning, the shot this morning was small, but I probably did something different.
No, the single is oddly small. So.
Okay. Look at that, man.
That's pretty.
Brah, that's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Oh I wish
I'm gonna go put this in front of the cameras.
Yeah, hold on. Let me even it out a bit. I don't know why I'm whispering.
ASMR moment.
ASMR.
Look at these.
Beautiful iced coffees.
I don't know what the angle here is.
Beautiful. Take a sip. Take a sip before you. Before I need critical judges. I need other tongues, other palates to taste this because I don't know. I could be biased towards my own. I could be just like it's delicious and it tastes like shit. Who knows? Tastes like iced coffee.
It's an iced coffee.
Tastes like an iced coffee. That's what I thought. And then there's going to be an espresso shot. Damn it. This is exciting. I'm sorry if I yelled too loud in there. I got excited. All right.
I think
First honest thoughts. I need honest thoughts here because I have no one else drinking my iced coffee. I just have people excited about it, but no one's drinking it, and I need to know if it tastes good or not.
Okay, so the pour-over method that you use, it obviously works because my ice is not melting. And so that's my biggest concern about putting hot to cold is that I'm going to get watered down because the liquid's going to be too hot for the ice. And so clearly you did a great ratio or the correct ratio or, I mean, I'm correct.
Yeah.
Perfect. You did a pretty damn near
Ice
perfect
to hot
ratio in the pour-over because it goes in this glass.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have I think your cup had better big cubes. So you don't want – one thing I do know about this is you want larger surface area on your ice.
So I made sure to put the big cubes in there when I threw it in
So,
there.
you know, that's why like if like a whiskey bar, you often see the golf ball ice.
Yeah.
And so that's what we should get if we want to start doing stuff like this, to have the molds – wow, just hit myself in the face. Have the molds in the freezer.
Yeah.
Our ice maker, the first pitch out is usually crushed, and then the cubes
there's
come.
a crush and a cube.
But even if you hit the cube,
it's still
crush
crushed.
comes, but then the cubes come, or the longer. It's the home ice, the Camelback.
Yeah.
What would you call those types of ice cubes? They're not cubes though. They're like the flat bottom, curved top. The home ice.
Yeah, home
like
ice.
every home ice maker makes the ice same way, right?
Yeah.
It's home.
I haven't
ice.
seen any different.
It's a Culligan.
Ice.
We got the ice maker. We lease it from Culligan.
I don't know what you call that shape.
But so for mine, there was a lot more crushed at the bottom, and so that does look like it's maybe evaporating,
refrigerator ice,
melting. But like Joel's, those look like the same ice cubes that were in there.
Yeah, a little consistent in size.
The taste, I get the first taste I had, it was actually smooth, and at the end, I kind of the aroma of the coffee was there, which I think is the quality of the bean.
Yeah.
I
Sure.
like it because I think you could actually sell this. Because I've always said what I like to drink, you probably can't sell as well.
Yeah.
You know, like when I go to Starbucks, I don't order cold brew. I order
No,
iced coffee.
Iced coffee.
Because I like a little bit of texture. Now, the problem is you risk it because I think they use the wrong beans sometimes, or they use the wrong method.
Or a blend or whatever.
There's something that makes it too
Bitter?
tarry.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
what you're saying. It's got a bitter taste to it.
Like
a
you
bitter
almost,
aftertaste.
it's almost unpalatable. Like you'd almost not drink it. But
Unless
usually,
you like that.
and I
Some
haven't
people
had that
like
in a while. I still like more of a bitter taste than a smooth. But I tell you what, man, 1885 is kind of changing my mind on that. So this is something that if I went to a coffee shop and this was served to me, I'm pretty excited about that. It's something I'm gonna recommend.
Thank you.
And so now, the only thing I don't know is what we're gonna stir in with.
Pinkies, bro. Oh, I love it.
No, it's Michael Scott when he puts in his 2 weeks notice, and he walks around the office with scotch, and he jingles the ice cubes in everybody's ear.
I haven't gotten there.
Because they're like, the only thing worse than Michael Scott on the job is Michael Scott without a job. Or Jim says something like that.
It was his birthday just recently passed, didn't it?
Was it?
I think so.
I've been watching my unwind routine. I've changed some things at home, which I don't know if we'll have time to talk about today.
That's a punch in the face right there. I like it.
I've been watching season by season bloopers on YouTube. So I watched season 2 last night of Office bloopers.
Oh, okay.
And outtakes. And I mean, it's so good. I mean, some of them you can tell are not. You have to be like inside joke, but like
because they have that chemistry though. Like,
it's so good, and it's funny. Based on the season 2 bloopers, it seems like anytime Kevin the actor that plays Kevin Malone, anytime he said something, they couldn't keep it together. Even the most mundane line, he must just be so funny.
Yeah, just
because like he would say something just bland, and they would just like lose it. So he must just be lighting them up behind the scenes. Scotch and Splenda. Tastes like Splenda, get you drunk like Scotch. Yes, Janai. Yes, Janai. Straight from Michael Scott. Yeah, this is so good. These glasses were a present to me a long time ago. I wasn't drinking then either. And I remember, but it made me feel fancy. I think my family might have gotten them for me.
I don't know. I like it. I like the look.
It's great for ice coffee. It makes you seem fancy.
Super fancy. And then we're doing like single serving ice pour overs. We're extra fancy right now.
Bro, that's good.
That's some good
that
shit.
That espresso shot.
That's awesome.
See, and that
caffeine wasted, folks.
This was like, okay, so what you served me was like RX. Like prescribed exactly what you ordered. This is RX Plus.
It's RX Plus.
This is like, you might not be ready.
Yeah.
You should have to sign a waiver to take this on.
Might have a heart attack.
Because now it's awesome.
You might floor it to work.
But this is special.
Yeah.
This is a special coffee now. So we have 1885 coffee with an Intelligentsia.
Black.
I don't know.
It's cat. It's cat.
Black cat.
It's black
I don't
cat.
know what they colored out.
It's cat.
So we have 1885 coffee with black cat espresso beans.
They tried, but the clues are everywhere. The stickers, the cat. There's the clues everywhere, folks.
And it seems
Great
like a
effort,
match
though.
made in heaven.
It's great. Holy crap! I need to get me one of these machines for the house.
You can just keep making espresso here.
That's true.
Okay.
Damn.
That was awesome.
That's great. I'm glad you did that. This is a fantastic idea. Freshly brewed iced coffee and fresh espresso shots.
All right, 25 more minutes.
In the gym? Goddamn. That's amazing.
It's a good life.
That's pretty cool. Life's good, folks.
So do you ever stop to think
about how good life is?
Oh, here, I had this in the notes. This actually leads into a great thing. So, yeah, come on, buddy. People like
Stop beating around the bush, bro.
People, yeah, you definitely. Are you happy now? You happy now?
He's like, yes.
You happy now? You happy now?
You're missing.
You happy now?
There you go. He might catch.
You're happy. Freckle paw, everybody. Elle loves this freckle paw.
Freckle paw.
This is Elle's favorite foot.
He's like, what's a freckle? I don't know what it is, but I like it.
Sweet boy. That brings us to a good starting point for the non-coffee segment. Do you want to pop up and restart the camera? Just hit record and then hit. I mean, it's probably off already.
That's probably true. Oh, it's still going. 20 minutes and 49 seconds in.
Okay, so it at least makes it 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But still reset it.
Okay, and we're back on.
Awesome. So, back to It's a Good Life. So Miranda joined us. She's completing her 3rd week. And I think this is the first week, of course, I think we talked about it every week, but this is the first week where I know that I felt a relief. like a difference between the time before she arrived and the difference from the time after she arrived.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I felt a little bit more rested than usual.
So you were able to get two mornings off, 2 mornings of sleep, right? You still had to come in for 7 at 7. And part of that wasn't necessarily her. Part of that was also Kim stepping in.
But that's right.
Like for me, and I do think she's been more of a relief for me. Although you do have, like, I think the only change for you is Monday, right?
Monday.
And then we don't have to coach Thursday night. We're here every other Thursday to kind of work out and spend time here. But she's running the show, and there's a significant difference stress-wise.
We had visitors yesterday, and they're from another gym they've been in before. They have what do you call it? The punch cards, and they absolutely loved her. After class, I was talking to them. They're like, "She's an awesome coach," and I was like, and I made sure to tell her that as well. I relayed the message. So shout out to Miranda, you're crushing it.
Yeah, you are crushing it, and I think that's the number one thing is the number of people that have felt kind of pulled to make a comment, to go out of their way to say, and I think that's one representative of how amazing this community is. That look, we say it a lot. If there's something positive, say it.
Yeah.
You know, think about reviews. You don't leave a review unless it's negative. We kind of do that in life with each other too.
Oh yeah.
We don't really say supportive stuff. We only really kind of complain. So like you and I will be neutral, like neither here nor there. But then if you screw up, then I'll get on you about it. But all the time you're doing great. If I'm not as likely, you want to put it in between?
Yeah.
I'm not as likely like, hey Joel, you're doing great. You know, and I think here we've tried to be better at that. But in life, I know that's still the case, and I know I still do that.
I actually had the same conversation yesterday with another athlete who paid a compliment, and I was like, that actually goes a long way for us. Like, we really appreciate it when like you tell us like we don't need praise all the time, but when you slip it in there and like, hey, you're doing great, like that's real big for us. That's kind of
So here's a fun story. When I worked at Abercrombie, I like girls that wear Abercrombie.
Standing outside without a shirt.
I think one of the LFO guys died, which is sad. No. Okay. There was a guy that I worked with.
Took too long to answer.
So the shirt outside the shirtless outside the store thing was only a Christmas thing.
Yeah.
And then like I think opening and stuff. But like for us, like we were in the Memorial City location, right there across from the food court, and so we didn't do shirts off until Christmas. And they would like pick the people they thought they were going to use. And I believe, actually, shout out to Bethany Hernandez at Skyline. I believe she was the female model.
That's my teammate.
There you go. I think she was the female because I knew Bethany. We worked at Abercrombie together. We were both very different humans. But her growth and strength has been amazing from when I knew her back then. But guy named Justin was the male guy that was picked. And so these aren't models. Most time it's not models. Most time it's store employees. Now, the store employees were called models. Like if you worked at Abercrombie, you were called a model. Like at Disney, you're called a cast member. Okay, I think Target's a team member. At Abercrombie, you're a model. Like, doesn't matter.
Here you're a wolf.
I don't think we agree to that. So they had told Justin, hey, you're probably gonna be the guy we go with. And so like he started getting really into like, I don't want to say body dysmorphia, but like we go to lunch break together, and he started getting real weird. And I don't know that I still to this day think he hasn't recovered from that. He looked great. He was so handsome. He looked fabulous. Looked amazing. But mentally, he was very different during and after than he was before. But just so we're clear, when I worked at Abercrombie, yes, I was hired to work the front room because at a time I was probably more attractive than I am now. But I quickly got sick of standing up there and saying, welcome to Abercrombie. Want to try on our sexy fitting jeans? Because if you didn't say that, you got written up or you got in trouble.
Low rise.
I quickly started making my way to the back because you know where real work is done in any store? The back. Because that's where the trucks come in. That's where the boxes get moved. That's where you got to move stuff, like lift stuff. You get to sweat back there. So I began to run the stock room. And
our sexy pair of jeans. I need to walk in and see if they still say shit like that.
I don't know. Maybe it's discriminatory now. My manager, like if you can't fit or you're not sexy. My manager, the store manager, I'm John King, and I only remember that because that was his name. He's responsible for my first fake ID. He's responsible for me going out way too much in Houston at the age of 17 and 18 and 19. No, 17 and 18. He was not a great store manager. And I remember him, Like, I worked my ass off. I like to work. And when you give me a stockroom where you can reorganize a stockroom every day. There's always a better way to do it.
Yeah.
So you can always have a project, okay? And so when I wasn't too hungover or sleeping in the shelving, which I did a number of times, I would be working. And I remember one time he came up to me, and I was starting to get real frustrated with his mediocrity. Because, look, these are just attractive college graduates that didn't make anything of their lives. That's how you end up managing. And no offense, but at that time anyways, that's who ran Abercrombie. Was like, hey, I'm pretty cute, but I also have a college degree because they did require that for whatever reason. And then they'd be like, but I don't want to try very hard.
Yeah.
So that's who ran these stores. And so I remember one time talking about like, hey, man, you got to tell us we're doing good. Because I had a team back there. And he never once was like, hey, great job. And we had a bomb-ass stockroom. And he told me, he goes, you shouldn't have to be told you're doing a good job every day. And I go, you don't have to tell me every day, but you got to tell us once.
Yeah.
You got to tell us.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the line you got to work on praise. We have to be praised. Like, you do deserve to receive praise if you work hard and you do things right. But it's when you say that out loud, it makes you seem needy. Like, can you please tell me I'm good? You're that needy girlfriend or boyfriend that's like, do you love me? Do you love me?
No.
Do you love me? That's way different than like, hey, bitch, you haven't said I love you in a very long time.
Yeah.
And then you go, well, you just shouldn't be so needy. Shut up, I'm leaving, okay?
Yeah.
So, the praise thing, I think that it shifted this past year. People are a lot more forthcoming with the thank yous and it's not that we haven't always had people say thank you, but like something changed in the last year, man. And
people are more open to it.
It's refueled me a lot. Because when you tell us we're doing a good job, when you tell me that Joel's doing a good job, I get a bump in energy from that. It doesn't have to be about me. Because it's about the team. It's about we're moving down the path of progress. And we're making an impact on life, and you're proud to be a part of it.
A lot of people like that you participated Wednesday.
Well, so that's going to be exciting. Ben's back, baby. Ben's back. Okay?
Back.
Back
in black.
And thank God. And it is like the relief Miranda's providing, the energy. Because sometimes you also need that.
Yeah.
Just a different energy in the space. And I've always felt really, really bad. Like, it really hasn't been since Sam left. Because I think she, although there were still reasons for it to not continue, there weren't real negative reasons for it not to continue that we maybe run into with other people. She was a positive influence on energy in here. Whether we can have complaints about like coaching technique or not, which I think she still did a good job. Again, she quit. She did not get asked to leave. She was here, and so she provided an outlet. And when Nicole was here, it happened too. She gave you somebody to talk to that wasn't me, And then that allowed us to have better conversations because then we weren't always having to talk about every freaking detail, And so it kind of that third player, especially a proactive player, is so beneficial to a team dynamic because when it's just two, it's like, what, asshole?
I'll see you in the morning.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. It'll be your face again.
I'll see you in a few hours this afternoon.
Like, absence makes the heart grow fonder,
Yeah.
I've always appreciated, but I feel like I can demonstrate my appreciation more effectively now that I don't have to pretend to appreciate you every goddamn day of my life.
Yeah.
Although I do appreciate you every day of my life,
That makes
okay?
sense.
But I shouldn't have to tell you every day, so please stop
No,
asking for it.
not. That'd be awkward.
So I want to,
Get it, bro.
one, this is a big thank you to Miranda for getting down here. And honestly, man, I feel energy from Robert, too, even though he's really only here on Friday night right now. Man, he's an amazing guy. Like, hey, Miranda, I'm coming for your man. Like, I just want to put that out there. Because, like,
slow down, man.
Man Crush Monday, Robert Johnson, everybody. Like,
slow down. She's strong.
She'll whoop my ass. That's fine. She's in way better shape than me.
She's an athlete.
Coming for your man, Miranda. Yeah, man. I don't know. It's so fascinating the difference that it made just her arrival. And then now that she's in control of the classes, because the first 2 weeks, her job was to shake hands and high five.
Yeah.
Yes, she ran some things, but we kept telling her it's not yours. Don't stress yet.
Yeah.
And then this week was the first week. It was like, these are yours.
Yeah.
She killed it.
Yep.
She killed it. She killed it. And man, what a relief. And the best part is she asked for feedback and she uses feedback.
Yeah.
It seems like we finally landed. Everybody interviews the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody interviews the same. I want feedback. I want to be told how to be better, and I want to grow. I want to do this. I want to be proactive. I want to be a self-starter, and I can't wait to kick ass at Black Wolf. 1 month in, you're like, crickets.
Yeah.
What are we doing here? Or you're offering feedback, and there's no change. There's resentment. There's pushback on the feedback.
Yeah.
Miranda has been killing it, and So that's going to lead to some things that are coming in the future that I'm going to announce at the end. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on this? I know you've kind of, and she just joined the conversation on Facebook. Miranda, we just talked about you for 5 minutes. So, welcome to the Facebook Live conversation.
Good morning.
We're bragging about you right now. So good time to arrive. But I'm sorry, you're going to have to go back after the video's over to listen to what we actually said, or just tune in the podcast.
Yeah, just goofing.
But how do you want to finish this up? Because, I mean,
is it already time?
No. I mean this segment, this part.
Oh, okay.
Because I want to move into a negative space talking about David real quick. Actually, no, I want to go Enneagram next. I want to go personality next.
Yeah, I think personality would be next. No, we're still talking about feedback, right? Feedback, positive feedback. Yeah. No, I think you hit it on.
And really anything relating to how you feel, how life is different. Like for me, man, I've got ideas again.
Yeah.
I haven't had, like, you don't understand. None of y'all understand what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
None of y'all understand what's coming. I've abstained from some things that I have not formally abstained from that are allowing me to go to bed earlier, and I'm resting better, and I'm not getting distracted late at night.
It's okay, buddy.
I'm not getting distracted by things are, and I basically worked for the last 2.5 years to take the edge off, in order to survive. Because the way that I operate at my best is kind of at 100%, like red line, mentally.
Keeping it busy, keeping it moving.
There's always something better. We can always, let's get this. Let's do this. Hey, man, you grow here. Like, let's go get it.
You know, that actually leads into the Enneagram thing. One of the things, that was something that came up, like part of a personality is, like, you try to, like, drown out things that are bugging you by doing, like, tasks, like routine tasks that keep you like or distracted.
Right.
And that sounds like what you're talking about.
Yep.
I forgot which personality trait that was, but that came up in mind where I do something like to block out other things that are actually bugging me or whatever.
So let's go into that. So you took your Enneagram, I took my Enneagram. Janai Hamilton's the one who had recommended this to us. Kind of give them an idea of what it was, like the test experience, and then, what your initial thoughts are. I'm going to actually have the results. We don't have to read them, but I just want to have them out if you want to reference them. So go ahead and go into kind of what was your experience with it.
Yeah, I'd like to do that. So Enneagram test, one, it's 200 questions, but they're not really questions. They're words, and you have to identify how much that word represents you, I guess. And it's one of those tests like where, do you remember the strongly agree, strongly disagree, kind of, sort of, kind of, no? Like you have 5 options there. You have all taken that test before. And again, you have 5 options you have to choose from. Either you agree with it, you don't agree with it. It's semi-frequently pops up in life, semi-doesn't, okay? There are 9 different personalities. And actually, I could read them to you. So, style number, there's the good person personality. There's the loving person, the effective person, the original person, the wise person. Where's the rest of it? The joyful person, the powerful person, and the peaceful person. And based on how you answer these 200 questions, again, it's not as crazy as it sounds. It will, at the end, tally up those answers and identify your personality style based on how you answer those questions. And it's a word, and there's an option to select like the definition of that word so you understand how that word applies to you. So it was an interesting test, and it was interesting in the fact that trying to answer these questions made me feel like I did not know who I was as an individual. But oddly enough, like with the results, it kind of made sense. Like with the results, I'm like, oh, okay.
So, Mike, have you taken anything like this before?
Like in school, like the strongly agree, kind of agree.
But have you taken anything that the purpose was?
No, to identify.
Did you ever have it? Like, did you have a counselor that maybe gave you a suggestion of your strengths?
I don't think so.
Like, has anybody ever talked to you about, hey, Joel, you're gifted here?
Not that I can recall.
See that's what's so fascinating to me about kind of how we're raised, and whether it's class or community, neighborhood. I grew up, however you want, well-to-do. My dad got a basketball for Christmas once. They had nothing. He slept in a full bed with his overweight brother for his all the way through high school. They came from nothing, but he then made something, and I was very, very fortunate to be raised upper middle class. Like, I had it, private school, everything. And in those systems, not only do you have to take tests to go to school, by the way, like to get into the school, like make sure you take a test. Is your kid smart enough to come to my school? That's insane. And like, sure, is it because in the programs maybe better? There are some, like the high school I went to was by far a great academic institution. The high school I graduated from. The one I went for middle and high school, like the middle and first part of high school, that test was, the money should have been the separator. It was already too much to go there. But you had a lot of tests that kind of told you, and like you had counselors, and like, you know, my high school class was 80 or 90 people.
I feel like we may have done stuff like that, like in that setting, like high school, middle school. But I honestly cannot remember them.
But
I cannot recall them.
This kind of goes into David. This kind of goes, and it's not the same at all. But like, how can you have excitement for life if nobody has ever said, Joel, you're fucking good at this? Like, Joel, this is where your strengths are. Joel, double down on this. You are special here.
Yeah.
And that's where we get lost on how, no, it's not equal. Life is not equal. People are not treated equally. Even when we intend it to be. Sure, it's set up to where it could happen. But, like, I was told often where I was special.
Yeah.
And that's even while being wildly misunderstood. You know, I've got deep-seated, like, issues with the fact that, like, I was adopted, abandonment, all these things. I was never understood. I was always a little bit off, even for being the jock. Like, I was recruited for sports. I'm supposed to be the popular kid, and it didn't work. I didn't fit because I wasn't understood. But even with that, even that sounding negative, I was still told I was special. When I turned in a paper, I was told I was a good writer and that this is something that I convey thought well. Like, and I take that for granted. I took it for granted because I thought that was normal.
Yeah.
If I was raised to never be told, and not that you were told that you didn't, that you sucked, like it's not that it was negative, but like, you know, it's like Gary Vee says, like double down on your strengths. What if you don't know your strengths?
You can't double down.
So like in that situation, this is important.
Yeah.
So what, like you're
everyone's different. Like
absolutely.
Everyone's way different. Like everyone's getting taught the same shit, but not everyone thinks the same.
And that's the first thing that I like. It's kind of how we coach.
My head keeps getting cold.
Like, I don't get to coach you the same way. Nicole's in the room because her child Jax is in the room. I can't coach you the same way I coach Nicole. Y'all are different. You know? I'm using as an example. I actually could coach them the same way. But the point is, like, people are different.
Yeah.
And so, like, your strengths are different than her strengths.
People learn different.
People absolutely learn different. But people should be – you cannot hold me to the same expectation you hold yourself.
Yeah.
Now, like, respect and politeness, like, operating in life, yes, you can. But in terms of, like, how you process stress, how you feel productive, the way would you rather wake up in the morning, go to bed late, whatever, that's different for you and I.
Yeah.
You know, and if I force you to meet my standard or you force me to meet your standard, we're not going to operate at our best.
Nope.
And so it is important to understand where it lies. At the same time, though, what do you got?
Well, I was just thinking, like, how, okay, this is almost a tangent, almost not. But there was a video game. Part of the video game, you took this little mini test because it was an open world game. And after the test, that test gave you what you're going to be based on how you answered questions.
There you go.
And that's what you're talking about.
What video game was this?
This was Fallout. It's an open world game, Fallout. This is like the apocalypse already happened.
But like, was it like low key a personality assessment?
Pretty
like
much
for you.
Yeah, but it was a game, so it was going to be random regardless.
Yeah, but don't
but
brush that off.
I think like that's what's gonna like we're gonna move towards that to where this happens. But my thing in the game was, oh, you're gonna be a tattoo artist. What if like that's gonna be the future? Where like, oh, this is what you're gonna be. This is what you're gonna do. But you as an individual, because you're uncertain of yourself, you're like, I don't want to do that.
Well, think about the stories from like the from the Olympics from Russia. And whether they're true or not, because, hey, you know what America does? It lies about a lot of stuff. We concoct a lot of stories. But I do think there's some truth to this. I think there is evidence, or they've admitted, because I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing. Basically, they do that with physical attributes.
Yeah.
Once you turn a certain age, they're kind of like, you look like you'll be tall enough to be this athletic, or you'll gymnast. You look short, okay, stocky. You come from this line. You're going to go to the school for gymnastics.
Yeah.
So it's kind of doing the same thing, but based on physical attributes.
Yeah.
And now what you're talking about, and what's fascinating, the reason I say pump the brakes on dismissing the game, you and I would play Fallout differently.
Yeah.
Especially in any open world game.
Yeah.
We would play Sims. We would build Sims differently.
Yeah, and you had the option to like actually give your character personality traits. Like, how's the charisma? How's his strength? Like, you got to pick how your character.
Hell, the way that you would build a player in Madden would be different.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know?
Yeah.
Like I always wanted to build like a fullback.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be the fastest. I wasn't Barry Sanders. I wanted him to be able to truck through the hole because that's what I admired, you know? And you would maybe have a different like personality put into that. I actually think that video games can be very, very useful in assessment because the things you choose, if someone was observing your behavior in the game, they could probably get a really good idea.
Yeah.
The problem is while you're doing that, you're not able to observe that.
Yeah.
And if nobody else is looking over your shoulder being like, look at this, or there's no person taking that data.
Are you the kid killing everything in sight, or are you like,
well,
you kind of waiting like, oh, this is a good person?
So that is it. So what were your, because you had texted me something very interesting.
Uh-oh.
After you took the result. When I forwarded you the result, or after I forwarded you the results. When
no,
you
it was before.
Before?
Because I had let you know, like, oh, I took the test. This is weird. Yeah.
And you kind of had a feeling that this was like a really weird thing to do, or like weird feeling you had.
Yeah. And
you had kind of mentioned, like, do I even know myself?
Yeah. Pretty much.
Unpack that a little bit. And where are you at now?
Ooh, ouch. So basically, because like I explained, there's words, and you have to pick how that word describes you. And you have, like, do you strongly agree with the description of that word and how it applies to you? Do you strongly disagree? Or are you kind of in the middle? And most times I found myself in the middle. Like, I rarely strongly agreed with the word. Some I did, some I didn't. But based on definitions, I was like, huh. Like, it should be something like, you see that, you read the definition, like, okay, yeah, this, yeah, that, yeah, this, yeah, that. I had to, like, wait a few seconds with each word and, like, does this really apply to me? Like, am I really this person? Do I think of myself this way? So, like, and that was, like, a majority of the test. So after the test, I was like, huh, do I even know who I am as an individual? Do I even understand how I think about things? Is my point of view on life, like, no matter what the circumstances are, is that how I'm going to think about it permanently, or will that change? So I was left, like, not understanding what I just did.
Yeah.
But when I got the results, like, I was like, the results made sense. Once the results came in, I was like, oh, okay, so these kind of do make sense.
Did the feeling of the test, so quick before we move on to that, did the feeling immediately after you submit the test?
Yeah. It was during the test.
But I'm saying, okay, even during though, because I think it's still the same. How was it compared to your level 2? First time. Or your level 1. Like, where you're taking it and you're like, I don't, because I remember, and look, man, I thought the level 2, apparently it was relatively easy for me, but in the middle of it, it's kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I don't know if I'm good at this.
Yeah.
And I had to, like, I'd be like, I should know what this means, and then you have to stop.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you go, actually, I did know what it means. I just second guessed. And then other times, like, I hope I got that.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think like how it compares.
Well, there wasn't much. There wasn't pressure like the L2 because that was like pass or fail. Like, you could fail that one. You know,
well, there was pressure because Janai said she was gonna boycott you until you took.
Yeah, pretty much. She was all over like my text messages and DMs, like take the test, take the test, take the test.
Well, wait till we get to that fun fact of the results as it pertains to you and me specifically.
Yeah, that is pretty funny. No, different, a little different because again, different circumstances. This one was a little bit more easygoing. The only thing I didn't like was that it was 200 questions and there was no time because you only had 2 hours to get it done. Not that it was going to take that long, but I would like to know how much time I had left. Right. So I mean, it was different because it was almost opinionated.
Yeah.
Like the test felt like it was based on your opinion, like how you feel about yourself.
Well, that's exactly it. There's no right answer.
Yeah.
There were no right answers.
No right or wrong answers.
It's all interpretive. It is how do you look. Remember
how you perceive yourself.
Joe Rogan said that one time. He said it a few times, I believe, but like it's really impactful. Oh, side note. What if the world is the multiverse? I thought about this last night. What I mean by that, I was laying in bed and
we're all the same person.
I was laying in bed and I could not sleep because I had changed my evening routine. Okay, so I couldn't sleep. So I'm laying in bed, getting in bed at 9. I'm just staring at the ceiling. Lights are off, everything's off. And I'm sitting there thinking about how, like, because at first you're like, you get frustrated if you can't sleep. And I was like, why be frustrated? I'm not the only one struggling with this. And I go, oh shit, there might be millions, thousands. Let's say thousands. There might be thousands of people doing exactly what I'm like, literally laying flat on their back, staring at their ceiling.
I'm pretty sure millions.
So then I'm going, what if we're all the same?
What if you're all like right now experiencing it at the same time, thinking the same thing?
But go farther. What if you're living my life in a different time? What if your life is just different choices?
Well, that's like almost like reincarnation, isn't it?
I mean, that's kind of the game we're playing.
Pretty much reincarnation.
Like, what if, and it kind of goes down to like the peace, love, and harmony thing where like we're all the same, man.
Yeah.
And like when I look at David, he's not different than me.
No.
yeah, he's an alcoholic, and he's on his he's rock bottom.
He could
and
be living a different time in your life.
He's been to prison, like
Yeah.
prison for a long period of time, multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
He's not different than me.
Yeah.
Like, we're the same.
You could go to prison too. I could go to prison.
He ran drugs from Mexico. Like,
Mhm.
that's part of his past.
Mm-hmm.
We're not different.
Yeah.
And it's a series of choices.
Different levels.
It's fascinating.
But still the same.
Anyways, sorry. Apologize for bringing that up.
No, I mean, that makes sense. That's something to ponder, something to think about.
Yeah, it did not help me go to sleep. did not help me go to sleep. But it is interesting. Like,
Something to pontificate, is it? Is that
but it's like Rick and Morty. Like, right now,
I tried to use a big
there
word. I may
are
have
two
failed.
people on the couch somewhere else
Yeah, talking
doing the same thing.
in a different way.
Crazy.
Like one of the other so when Joe Rogan interviews, it's across the table. And one of the other podcasts is to The Fighter and the Kid. They have two separate chairs, but it's the same layout. I mean, they have the fancy set.
So the reason I got to that in the Joe Rogan thing before I went to the multiverse thing. Sorry for the rabbit hole, and I thought we were gonna go a whole episode without mentioning Joe Rogan, but there
we
it goes.
are. I wasn't gonna bring him up either.
But there it is. The one time per episode. What I wanted to say was that he talks about is like the only thing that you can do, the best thing that you can do is show the world how your mind works.
Yeah.
Because that is the only thing that is actually unique.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Nothing else is unique. You're a great athlete.
Yeah.
Someone's equal, someone's better.
Yeah. There's
Okay?
always someone better.
You're a great artist. Someone's equal, someone's better.
Mm-hmm.
You ride a skateboard real well. Someone's equal, someone's better. None of that's unique.
Yeah.
The only thing that is truly unique is how your mind works.
Yeah, how you process the information.
So using your mind, putting your mind on display is the only thing that can truly separate you or maybe even give you meaning.
And people are scared to do that.
And so this test will look at you. You were overthinking the questions because you were worried about using your interpretation versus more of like maybe what's a right answer.
Yeah.
You know?
Or like how other people perceive me.
And like for me, it's a little bit easier. But again, I think that's partly experience, having been in these scenarios before. But like, and back to the level 2, I didn't hesitate. It was just like click, 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 click all the way through.
Yeah.
Okay? My hesitation was like very infinitesimal. When I did hesitate, it was still wait. I got done in 25 minutes. Everybody else took an hour. And that's not bragging. It's like it's a rushing. Like
yeah. I ask myself a lot, like with each question, like I think one of them. Okay, so for example, a word was lonely, and I was like, "Am I lonely?" And I'm like, I did that a lot with everything. Like, am I this? Am I that?
Right.
Am I this? It was not like, oh yeah, oh yeah.
So we have
oh yeah,
we have
oh yeah.
3 minutes left. I wanted to say one thing back to that. So Janai, we sent our results to Janai, or I forwarded all the results to Janai, and I think each of y'all ended up sending it to her anyways. She probably got inundated with results. We are literally the opposite.
Yeah, that was funny.
In every way.
In
every way.
So
we have
funny.
quantified it now.
Yeah.
She said that every area where I scored strong, you scored weak, and in every area you scored strong, I scored weak.
Yes.
Which is,
That's funny.
Talk about perfect.
Like people have always said, y'all are like opposites. Like, yeah, we're like opposites. Oh no, we're opposites.
We got the evidence.
we have quantifiable evidence.
So
opposite.
I thought that was amazing. And so,
yeah.
Do you have anything else?
And that was another thing. I was like, well, I guess this is pretty accurate because I feel like I was wrong, like possibly wrong with that test. But after like seeing results and then hearing that, I was like, okay, I guess this test is right. But I do think we should add that Janai took the test again and her results were different.
And I don't want to go into too much detail here, but I would say that like reading the scores this morning before class, I took this test about 6 months ago. Yeah. Okay.
Or did you retake it?
I have not retaken it. She retook it, and we talked about me retaking it, but I'm going to wait.
Yeah.
And so, for example, there was one thing that was already a growth point, and so one of them is that my minor thing, I forget, my non-resourceful. My non-resourceful, and I get very confused on the language. We're going to bring her on to interpret all that stuff.
We need her.
But my non-resourceful says that when things get tough, I don't. She used the Homer Simpson gif where he goes back to the bushes.
Yeah.
And she said, you go within yourself because you don't need anybody to make yourself feel better.
Yeah.
You're going to take yourself away from the moment. That's not something I used to be able to do.
Yeah. My guy doesn't. My thing says I don't like conflict.
You don't.
But I like
try to help both parties.
Yeah.
Which is so true.
Yeah.
Absolutely true, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not going to help both parties. I'm going to help who's right.
Yeah.
In my opinion, but my opinion's right.
Like at the house too. Like they're like. Say there's some like conflict within the family. I'm always trying to see things from both sides.
Right.
Like,
it's a very annoying habit of yours.
What's really going on here?
It's a very annoying habit of yours.
Sorry, y'all.
You really should just.
I'm the peaceful person.
You're very peaceful. But on another one, I really believe if I took it today, it would be different.
Yeah.
Because I think where I was last year is very different than where I am now.
Yeah.
So we grow.
Yeah.
We're gonna.
Which is what I wanted to bring it around to that. based
we're
on
gonna
where
hurry
you're
up
at.
here, but basically the downside of personality assessments is then you can end up defining yourself by it, and you do not have to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to move on. So we got about 2
Yeah.
minutes. What I wanted to announce today, okay, a couple of things. One, we talked about the freestyle program. Okay, the freestyle program is taking place of Black Wolf Fitness, and it's going to offer 3 different class types: grit, hit, and endurance. And we will release more information on that. The main thing is going to be next week. We're going to release a new schedule, and that's going to be a 6:45 p.m. class instead of a 7 p.m. class.
Okay.
That class is going to be Monday through Wednesday. There's also going to be the addition of opening the entire Thursday schedule to the freestyle athletes. So all freestyle athletes will now have 5 classes on Thursday to come to. Okay, they will all likely be either hit or grit, not enduro, because that is how we program on Thursdays. But it is still going to be a 45-minute programming on Thursdays. Freestyle is invited to that, and then 6 a.m. on Friday. We are working on a weekend schedule. In all likelihood, they will be invited to a Sunday class at 10:30, but that is not yet on the schedule. So freestyle is coming. Okay, the other thing I wanted to announce is the Den of Wolves, and that is a working title. What that is going to be is the Black Wolf Business Directory. And so what I would like y'all to do, if our athletes are a part of a business that could serve other athletes, or if they are entrepreneurs like Elle, being the hairstylist, I want to brag about you, Stephen Oliveris, Precision Gym Maintenance. We want to begin to share you. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick a business a week, and Greg at Knapp Chevrolet. We're going to pick a business a week, and we're going to basically profile it on Instagram, profile it on the podcast, and then profile it on the website. And then we'll start to basically put all of these on a page on the website so that we can always, because it's always nice to keep things within the community. Okay? So support your fellow athletes. Okay? Those are the main announcements today. I think this was a great episode. Thank you for bringing the coffee, and this coffee is delicious.
Thank you.
1885 Coffee. Thank you very much. Remember, April 6th, first Saturday. Get in here. Tell your friends. Work out at 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. And then stay tuned for the Crawfish Beer Bash that we're going to have in May. All right. Anything else?
Nope. That's it from me. I'm good. I'm happy. I'm satisfied.
Well, I hope everybody has a fabulous weekend. We will see you tonight. Back in Black or Black on Black. Friday Night Lights. 19.5.
Thrusters and pull-ups. Bye-bye.